Welcome back to Feel Better with Lauren. I'm Lauren. Thanks for joining me. I've had a lot of cool experiences just lately of people coming up to me on the street and saying that they're enjoying my videos. So I really appreciate that because we're kind of operating in a vacuum here. A few people are saying that some of the videos they can't physically do. So today I want to bring up the concept of finding your own personal edge. So when I say find your edge, say you're sitting on the mat. When I say touch your toes, and you bend over and you touch your toes. That may be what it looks like for you when you bend over, but that's not what it looks like for me. When I say bend over, touch my toes, I stop at about here, and then I start feeling a strong physical sensation that if I pushed it more, I actually might hurt myself. And it's at that point I'm coming up to my edge. I just want to back off a little bit, and then I want to inhabit that space where there's still a strong physical sensation, where I can use my breath to bring my mind and my body together and just live there for a little bit. So today, we're going to do a little practice of finding that edge. Some simple exercises where you're going to be by yourself. You don't have anything to prove to anybody. You don't have to prove to me, but you will start feeling that sensation, and you'll be able to use that on other videos and in other practices to start feeling better. Hi, so today I want this to be super accessible to a lot of people, this video. This is about finding our own personal edge and just practicing doing that. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. If you have a doctor that's guiding you through things or another medical professional, you should listen to them. Absolutely every single time. But maybe you can incorporate this into your practices. And maybe when you talk to your doctor about what you want to do, they can help guide you as well. So today, as we always do, let's start at the back of our mat, and we want to get rid of some of that stale air in our lungs. So in through our nose, big breath, and out through our lungs, get rid of all that sort of residual air that's staying in there, and we'll replace it with some fresh air that we're doing. So in through our nose, and push all the way out. And in through our nose, and push all the way out. And once more, in through your nose, and all the way out. Now for the rest of this time, we're going to do really slow, restrained breathing through our nose. And the restrained breathing comes from like you're fogging up a mirror, but you're keeping your mouth closed. And that's you're sort of restraining the back of your throat there. And just keep slowly in and out, about 3 to 5 seconds in and 3 to 5 seconds out. And if you keep focusing on that, your body will let you know how you're doing with finding your edge. You may start wanting to breathe faster or slower. You may start sweating a little bit. All these are indications that your body is trying to tell me, and you just need to listen to that. So let's just breathe in and out through our nose for a few moments, and then we're going to do exactly what I had said in the intro, which is we're going to bend over and touch our toes from a seated position. But breathing through your nose first. Even breaths all the way in, and then even breaths all the way out. And one more. Now, however you've been sitting, see if you can put your legs in front of you. If you get a nice 90-degree seat here, this is called staff pose, and it's just sitting there. And what we want to do is reach over and bend and touch our toes and try to hinge at our hips and keep our back as straight as we can so we're not sort of falling over our knees. One thing that I like to do is to bend my legs a little bit first and touch my toes. And then I might start straightening my legs a little bit as I find a little bit more space. So just let's find a way to touch our toes there. If it just looks like that for you, that's great too. If you're starting to get a sensation in the back of your legs and maybe a little stretch in your back, That's a great place to be, and just inhabit that and keep breathing through in and out through your nose. So we're not going for distance, we're going for quality. Okay? So I've found my edge right about there. My legs have got a little tiny bend in them. I'm not straining anything, but I can definitely feel a nice sensation. And now I just want to breathe in that spot. And sometimes I can get a little bit panicky sitting in any of these sort of stretching moments. And if you relax and just listen to your breath, you'll find that everything relaxes and feels better. Just do a couple more slow breaths. Last breath in. Slowly come up, back up to that staff position and just sort of feel, how do you feel? And I'm going to move over and face you, and we'll do what's called a butterfly position. So touching your feet together, if you can. If the further away that you put your feet, the less intense that it is, and the closer you put your feet to your hips, the more intense it is. You might want to put blocks here to support yourself. And this is that standard we used to stretch all the time in gym like this. You can hold on to your feet a little bit. And again, you're going for relaxation. You want to feel how your hips open up. And just to that point of a strong sensation. And then we're just going to sit here for a few moments, just breathing in and out through our nose and letting our body acclimatize. Keep your back nice and straight. Again, if you want to move your feet away from you a little bit, that'll make it a little less intense. Just feel how your body feels here. Nice and slow breaths. If it's feeling too strong, lift up your knees a little bit. You can put your hands on your knees to support them. Let's do 2 more breaths here. Nice straight back. And last breath in. And relax. And then just use your hands to bring your legs together, wherever they are, and see how that feels. I'm going to cross over here and go to the other side with my knees a little far apart, if you can get to that spot. And I'm going to go into what's called a lion pose, which is your hands back, getting a bit of a wrist stretch, and sitting back onto your heels, and then also pushing forward. Now, that might not feel great to you. You can put your hands, you can just do a squat like that. You can put your knees together. It's whatever is giving you a sensation. In this case, I'm getting a sensation in my wrists, and I'm getting a little stress onto my shoulders, where I'm holding back, and I'm trying to keep my back as straight as I can. And I'm trying to balance myself. And as I get my arms further back, it opens up my front chest a little bit. And then I'm just going to sit in here. I'm going to feel everything settle. And one last nice long breath in. Now, because I'm almost here, I'm going to go into child's pose. And this is a pretty relaxing pose as well. So you may already be partly in this. You want to keep your hips onto your heels, and you just want to walk your hands out a little bit. Wherever that is, if you keep your hips locked onto your heels, you'll start feeling that stretch in your back. And maybe as you sort of slowly move forward, maybe that's it. Maybe up here is it. If you can feel a sensation there. This is one that I'm pretty good at, or I feel good in. And I can walk my hands forward and forward. And with each breath in, I create a little space. And each breath out, I can sort of fall into that space until my forehead touches the mat. And I can put my arms out a little further. But you don't have to go down this far. You can put your arms out as much as you can to get a little extra stretch. And you can feel a stretch in my hips and in my lower back. I'll just breathe in and out through my nose here a little bit. And let's do one breath in. And let's come up. Now that we're here, we're going to move over to a plank. But you don't have to raise your knees off the ground for a plank right now. You can stay on your knees as it is right now and just practice doing plank, separating your shoulder blades, pushing up out of the ground, and that could be enough of an intensity as well. We're not trying to prove anything here. I'm going to go up onto my toes, and I'm just going to find some comfort and stability here. And again, you can be down on your knees, you can be down on your toes on your knees to give an extra stretch. There's all kinds of things you can do here. It's all sort of good form. Just push away from the ground a little bit and find some good stability and some peace here, breathing in and out through our nose. Don't let your hips sink down. Keep your shoulder blades separated no matter how your legs are. Just a couple more breaths here. And last breath in, and we're going to go back to our downward dog. This being a fundamental of yoga, as we know, it's in every poster you'll ever see. It's getting a straight line from your wrists to your shoulders to your hips, but it's also a pretty hard pose to do as well. So maybe you want to be down on the ground doing more of a puppy pose. Maybe you want to go up to downward dog, but with your knees bent, which is where mine are usually at. And it's more about finding this straight line between your wrists to your hips to your shoulders. And then only then when you've got that straight line, you can straighten your legs a little bit more. But obviously I've got lots to go before I have that perfect downward dog form. And once you find that, you just want to sit here for a little bit. Breathing in and out through our nose. A good mat is really helpful here, which I have. And last breath in. Now, however you were, maybe you took a piece out on your knees for a moment. Let's walk up to the front of our mat, or float, or handstand, or whatever you're good at. And we're going to try to find a spot of doing a forward fold. And this is using gravity a little bit as our help, but Maybe your forward fold is not all the way down. We want to try to keep our legs straight, not our knee. Our knees don't want to be locked. Our legs straight, so we feel that sensation in the back. And then you basically want to just relax into this forward fold. But maybe you're standing up to do that. Maybe this gives you some stress on your back in a good way. Maybe you just want to fall a little bit more. Maybe you want to use your hands on your thighs. Or maybe you want to have yourself folded right over. And as you breathe into this, you create some space. As always, I like to do what's called a gorilla, which is where you step on your feet in the front and you hang there. We'll do a few breaths here. Just relax here. The more you hang, the more you can bend, and the more your body opens up. Let's do a last breath in, and all the way out. Now we'll do a halfway lift. So depending on where you are, this will look different. A halfway lift on an inhale, your arms go to your shins for support, and you make a 90-degree angle right here as you lift up and have a flat back. But maybe it just looks like that. Maybe you're even standing up even taller. This is just to get that sensation for you. This is about finding your edge. So for me, we're in the forward fold, and we inhale to a halfway lift. That stretches out our back. And we exhale to a forward fold again. And we inhale to a halfway lift. And we exhale again to a forward fold. Now, depending where you are, try to get as low as you can into a ball, but that might not be all the way down to the ground. But wherever you've been able to roll to, slowly roll your way all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Maybe this is where you're starting from, inhaling and putting your hands over your head as far as you can, and then kicking at your hips as far as you can, as far as it's comfortable, and bend all the way back. But maybe that just looks like that for you. Maybe it looks like with your hands in front of you. Maybe your hands are in the side in a cactus pose. In this, we're trying to get some sun on our face, so if you can tilt your head up, that's great. If that feels comfortable, and we're just going to hold here for a few moments. I find even in a pose like this, I shake a little bit, but it's a good kind of shake. So one breath in, and bring your hands back down to a prayer position. The great thing about a prayer position is that you can't help but be even in a prayer position with your feet shoulder distance apart, with your standing relaxed, with your shoulders squared up, and your hands put together, your thumbs touching your sternum, and your elbows at about the same height as your wrist. You're just really symmetrical. So we're sitting here just for a few moments. With the next inhale, we're going to go up to the top, and then we're going to sink down to a yogi squat, Malasana. We go all the way down. Again, this is really hard. Maybe you just want to go down slowly. Maybe you want to put yourself down to a ball. However you want to do that, we're going back down to the floor. So We're going to go from our prayer position all the way up and then sink down. I'm going to sink down to a squat where there's some stability and some balance. You could be on your knees. You could be cross-legged. The squat is something that I can do. I just like it. You can roll out your wrists here. And let's just take a few moments in this position or whatever position you've chosen to sort of with your hands in a prayer position. Your back nice and straight. Maybe you're on your knees. And just breathe in and out through your nose. And last breath in. And relax. We're going to go back onto our mat. You don't have to be graceful here. If you want from here, you can grab onto the back of your thighs and sort of slowly roll back, or you can get yourself down however you want. You don't have to be graceful. That's not part of it. I'll just roll back nice and slow and controlled, and I'll go into happy baby pose. Happy baby pose, tons of different ways to do that as well. So happy baby, in theory, you're grabbing the outside of your feet and you're letting your hips sort of sink back in towards your armpits. But maybe you can just lift your feet up a little bit and hold onto the back of your thighs or onto your shins. That gives you a sensation as well on your back to open up your hips. Maybe you want to keep your feet on the ground and just let your hips fall open. So wherever you're at, there's lots of different ways to do that to still get this feeling of your hips opening, of your back stretching, and of things relaxing into and finding their own balance. And with each breath in, you might just be able to relax into that a little bit more. I'm going to do one more big breath. And if you can, let's put our knees into our chest and just pull them as much as you can. But maybe your feet are on the ground. Maybe your knees are right up against your chest, or maybe they're like mine, somewhere in between. We do that, and that sort of straightens up all our spine. And we'll go over and do just a real gentle supine twist. So our knees together, our hips shuffle over, and we roll onto our side. And maybe that's where it is. Maybe that's something that's already challenging for you, lying on the side. Or maybe you want to open up yourself a little bit and let your shoulder fall open. And you can relax into that and get a full stretch out of it. Maybe your arm doesn't go all the way back. Maybe just your shoulder falls a little bit. Maybe your head stays facing this way. So lots of different ways. Experiment, move your head around and your shoulders around until you find that little bit of tension and then relax into that spot. So let's breathe through our nose here a little bit. And the last breath in and exhale. However you can, get your knees back up to your chest or back just sitting down there and give them a nice squeeze in wherever you can. Maybe you grab below your thighs. Maybe you grab just a little bit on your knees. And we'll go and twist over to the other side. So I move my hips over a little bit and I fall over like I'm going to just fall asleep on my side. My right hand goes on top of my left thigh. And for me, my left arm falls open and I start looking over my shoulder. But again, maybe you stay looking towards the other wall. Maybe your shoulder doesn't fall all the way open. And you just sort of relax into this. Let your body tell you that you're not overstraining. I'm not pulling on anything. I'm not forcing anything. I'm letting my body relax into this. Let's just do a couple of breaths here. And last breath in. Then exhale. Once again, pull your knees in. And that's all we're going to do. And now we're going to put our heels to the four corners of our little space of our mat and do corpse's pose, which is tucking our shoulder blades underneath our back, lying with our palms facing up and our legs fall open, however that looks like for you. And now we can just continue breathing whatever's natural and whatever you're feeling. So in and out through your nose. And just take a few moments here in this corpse's pose and just sort of start feeling how your body feels from all that. If you found a little bit of that edge, we'll apply it to the next one as well. And we'll see you in the next video.
Always talk to your healthcare professional before starting a new regime. If you experience pain, discomfort, or dizziness, slow down or stop. These videos will become easier each day, but if it doesn't feel right today, go slower or move to another video. Listen to your body.